Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my craft room. Thanks for joining me today. I am hopping along with our Whimsy Stamps video team for the Cubed Christmas Video Hop and Giveaway. There is a chance to win a $25 Whimsy Stamps gift certificate, so make sure you hop to all the videos and leave a comment along the way. You can find the next participant down in my description below. So of course I'm using the cubed die set. I'm also using my Decorate a Tree die set, and I'm going to make a light up card using my Pear Blossom Press Easy Lights. So I've already die cut everything that I'm going to use and more because I wasn't quite sure how I was going to decorate my tree yet, out of some cardstock, different colors. And I did a rough layout of my tree and where my packages are going to go. So I used my cubed die set to create some Christmas packages. I really like wrapping my presents in craft paper. I think they give a really nice, elegant look, so that's what inspired my Christmas packages today. So now that I have kind of a basic layout of how my tree and packages are going to go, I'm going to start gluing those pieces together. So I have my star of my tree die cut out of some gold glittery cardstock. And then I have 4 of the different tree die cuts out of some green cardstock. I tried to do a more forest green color. And I'm just gluing all of these pieces together using some wet glue. I'm going to end up popping up these pieces with some thick foam tape, so I didn't want any extra dimension as it was going to have plenty. So just using some wet glue to adhere all these together, as well as my trunk of my tree and my red little pot that it's going to sit in. I really love how these dies allow me to cut everything out of different colored cardstock and just really create my own tree. I've seen some really great ideas with this die set and pattern paper. It's just a really fun die set for the holiday season. So now to create my packages, I'm just going to glue the frames of my cubed die cuts onto some white cardstock, so that way I have something to glue the pieces that are cut out from inside the frame, and they'll stay together because I want them to look like a cubed package. So just gluing all of those pieces down to a white piece of scrap cardstock, and I'm going to repeat that for all 3. I'm going to take my scissors and try to cut at an angle so that way there is no white cardstock showing. I'm trying to make sure that it just looks like my little craft paper package and it's not obvious that I glued everything down to a white piece of paper. So just trying to go at an angle and making sure all of that white paper is not showing when I'm cutting it out. I repeat for all 3 of my packages, and then I'm going to work on my layout again to make sure I can hide my light up mechanism behind everything, and then I'm going to work on placing where I want my 3 light up ornaments to go on my tree. I also selected a piece of cardstock or pattern paper from the Buttercup Slimline paper pack. I wanted it to kind of look a little bit like wallpaper behind my Christmas tree. I took a pencil and marked where I wanted my lights to go, and I have a tiny hole punch, and I'm just punching 3 holes since my Easy Light has 3 LEDs on them. And I'm going to flip it over and start working on putting my lights together. I didn't want my video to be too long, but I did want to show the process of putting the lights on behind the tree. I make sure that the LED is facing out of the hole so that way light shines out through the card. And then I'm just using some of my purple tape that I keep next to my desk for die cutting or keeping anything in place. And I'm just using it to make sure my light doesn't move, that it stays in that hole. And I'm going to repeat that for the other 2. And you don't need to use anything fancy, just regular Scotch tape or washi tape is perfect for keeping my lights and my wires in place and hidden. So once I have all 3 of those lights, I'm going to work on how I'm going to wrap up my excess wires and then make sure that my mechanism can be hidden behind my tree base here in my red pot, as well as one of the packages. Once I think I have that figured out, I went ahead and added some tape, and then I'm winding up the excess wires and we'll add one more piece of tape to hold those in place. I'm just making sure that they are curved and I'm not making any harsh bends with any of the wires. Now I can work on placing my package to cover the mechanism, and I want to make sure that my card receiver knows where to push onto my package to turn the light on. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the top of my mechanism right above that battery. And then I'm going to grab my push stamp set from the Halloween Postage stamp set from Whimsy Stamps. It has a lot of different small words for interactive cards. And so I just put push onto one of my cards. And I've already peeled up the release paper off of my mechanism. So I just place that down to make sure that everything is covered. I'm adding a little bit of wet glue where the package overlaps my Christmas tree pot and just making sure that they are parallel to each other, both flat on the ground looking. Once that is all dry and everything is in place, I'm going to now start adhering everything to my striped background. So I'm going to be using some really thick foam tape. This particular foam tape is from Huffy Doodle and it's great for interactive cards like this. It's slightly thicker than your average foam tape, so you don't need to double up, but you can easily achieve this thickness by doubling up your own foam tape. And I'm just placing it along the back of my Christmas tree, making sure nothing is exposed off of the sides of my die cut. And placing the foam tape on the wires or the lights does not affect the mechanism or the electronics at all. So I'm just placing them in different spots to make sure that my tree will be stable on my background, as well as behind my red pot and my tree trunk. And then I will go ahead and add some double-sided adhesive behind my battery pack, and then I will place that onto my card, well, not my card base yet, but my background. And I'm happy with where everything is placed, so I peeled off the release paper and I'm just going to adhere that down to my striped background. And there we have our light up tree all ready to go. So now I just need to glue on the rest of my packages. I'm going to put my second package in front of my tree base here on the bottom just to kind of even out my card, so the space at the top of the tree is the same as the space underneath this package. And then I have that third package that I'm going to tuck behind my tree. So I already put some of that foam tape to where I need to slide that package in. So I'm just going to trim it until it fits. I want to make sure that the spacing on the right side of my card matches the left just because it looks nice and even. So once I have it trimmed down to where it will fit behind my tree, I will add that foam tape and just slide it behind. And there you go. You can't even tell that I had to cut off almost half of it. So now I can decorate my boxes. I've die cut these ribbon pieces from the Decorate a Tree die set out of some red glittery paper, and I'm just adding some bows to my packages, making them look nice and ready for Christmas. And next I'm going to add ornaments to my tree. I'm going to use 3 of them to cover up the lights and then another 3 just to add more decorations to my tree. So I wanted them to look a little more realistic, I guess. So I added some gold Wink of Stella to the top of the ornaments where it would be metal hanging from the tree. I'm adding some glue around the LED hole on my tree, and then just using my tweezers to help me place an ornament covering the hole. So now I'm going to repeat that same process for the other 2 lights, and then I'm also going to just glue down the other 3 ornaments in random spots on my tree, again adding that gold to the top of my ornament. Once all of those are down, I'm playing with my mechanism. I know it's kind of hard to see, my desk is a little bright, but they are lighting up and they do look really cool under the ornaments. So now I can glue my background down to a card base. This is a Slimline card base that once scored and folded is 3.5 by 8.5. I glued that down and then I wanted to add a sentiment. I die cut the banner from the Slimline Fancy Frame die set, and I went ahead and scored it, and I am going to stamp the sentiment Happy Holidays. This is from an older set called Tweetie Pie, and I thought it fit perfectly on this banner, so I went ahead and stamped it in black ink on my white cardstock. I'm adding some wet glue to where my sentiment will touch the tree as well as the striped paper background. And then I'm just going to hold it in place until the glue dries enough that I can let go. And once that's done, that pretty much finishes up my card. I wanted to add a little bit of bling besides my shiny tree topper and my presents. So I'm just grabbing some glitter embellishment and squeezing some onto all of my ornaments, and now my card is done. I really like how it turned out. I love that my ornaments light up when I press the push button. I did dim my lights a little bit, and I think you can see here a lot better those 3 ornaments lighting up. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, click that like button, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. Thank you so much for hopping along. Again, you can find the link to the next participant down in my description, as well as links to all the products I used to create this card. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the hop and have a great day.